Hi.
Welcome everyone to the Trisbrina Show, and we have a really juicy
I think it's a pretty juicy
topic to talk about tonight. And I'm really excited for those of you who are joining us live or those who watch the replay and comment, because so many people hear what we're going to talk about in a different way. And no one's right and no one's wrong. It's just, how does your interpretation move your life more towards that what you want?
Absolutely. So we're talking about turning the other cheek.
Turn that cheek.
You know, that's one of the most famous and challenging verses in the New Testament. And there's a lot of interpretations about it. But the reason that it's a conversation tonight is because we received an email yesterday that was kind of interesting.
I'll tell.
We will get to that in a moment. I'm just setting it up because that's what I do.
You're doing an open loop to keep you hooked in.
That's right. Don't give away all the secrets. So we had an email that really prompted tonight's Trisbrina Show. And we're always looking for things that are super relevant to what's happening right now in our lives. And we're so connected with our community. And so often people say to us, how is it that you knew exactly what I needed to hear? And I think that that's just alignment.
Yep.
It's the energy of the community. So.
Well, I'll give you an example of alignment. You know, what's great is, we're working with this group of people right now. We just kicked off a new program called Black Belt in Life Manifestation Mastery Program. And we met for the first time, and we really are just having these conversations about noticing and acknowledging what we're creating, and what we're hearing and what we're seeing and what's coming to us and how we're reacting to it. And what's really great about being a teacher or a coach is whatever you are telling your students, you're also telling yourself. And so you get to step into it more and more and more. And so here, and even the smallest example. So here's the little small example. I was at the other house that we're moving out of as we move into this one, which we're 90% out. And there were just a couple more things. What?
I said 95.
There were just a few things in the closet, and I saw this shirt. And it was in the back. And so I set it aside, I put it in the car, and I said, I'm going to wear this tonight on the Trisbrina Show. And then I got home, and
you asked me,
and I said, what are you wearing? And he said, I think I'm going to wear gold or yellow. And I'm like, what? You've never worn gold or yellow.
I was just feeling the vibe. It was intuited that this was the color tonight. She goes, come on, really? Look at the shirt laying on the couch.
And I had the shirt downstairs on the couch. So it was like proof that was what I was going to wear.
Pretty fun, pretty cute. Talk about alignment, right?
But that's what happens is when that is the norm.
Yeah. When
the coincidences and the giggles are just in sync with those that you love, but even more just in sync with life.
And Gail is here. Hi, David. I hear you guys are digging the rockin' the color. Thank you, man. He says, juicy sounds good. The yellow is rockin'. And Ron, who attended our masterclass this morning, which was in our Life Force Mastery School, we did Ageless Mobility, and he said the masterclass this morning was great. Thank you so much. I had a blast kicking that off.
Yeah, I'm really excited. A nice size handful of you just joined the dojo.
Yeah.
And it's hard to explain what happens in the dojo until you experience it, because the transformation as your physical health and vitality, and then just this level of fun and level of community, and then your fitness level, and then that personal connection to source through the meditation. It's such an incredible place to be. So when people say yes and join, I'm always like, ooh, they have no idea what they're going to get.
See what's going to come through. Well, that's a beautiful tribe, and this is, with the Trisbrina Show, really is for our entire community, for all of us just to really, truly stay connected together and to keep evolving and growing and invite you guys to cool stuff. So tonight, and this is what we sent out, is this is truly a beautiful opportunity, I think, this turn the other cheek. Being a self-defense instructor for so many years, I have a lot to say about how this is sometimes interpreted. So we're going to dig into my take on it, and we're going to dig into Sabrina's take on it. And I think you're going to really, really love what came through Sabrina this morning, based on an email that came through to us that gave us an opportunity to reflect on energy and where you're coming from. Now, we did say that turn the other cheek is something that you can use to create great inner wisdom, great inner strength. There's a strength from this particular teaching. There's a great clarity that comes from this. And there's insights about knowing what loving, kind, conscious actions to take, if any. Right. So let's dig into that. You want to kick this off?
I do.
All right. I think we officially have started.
So just to set up like where I was at experientially when I received this email that I was not fond of.
At first.
What had happened was the night before we had met with our Black Belt in Life manifestation, and it was so amazing. We met on Zoom. We got to see these people.
Like 30
and I was just telling Tristan, like, wow, I'm so impressed. I feel so good. Did you see everyone's heart? Did you hear everyone's desire to really be in alignment with love? And one person said something, and I haven't even talked to you about this. I mean, you were there, so you heard it. But one person said as we went around, I kind of just want to be like Sabrina. And I really didn't take that personally, because she went on to explain, when I see her, she seems happy and joyful and full of energy, and she's always reframing what life is giving her to a way of positivity and seeking for something higher. And when she said it, I thought, oh, I want to be like that Sabrina too, because there's always many Sabrinas and many Tristans. There's so many, and we're always having to choose to be the one. So I didn't take it personally, and yet I thought that was really sweet, and I understood it, and I allowed myself to receive that in a personal and non-personal way. And we had a little homework assignment, and the homework assignment was something that conjured up a sort of a vacuum for surprises and delight from the universe. So I woke up the next morning, which was yesterday morning, and I went to our P.O. box that now, with lockdown and things are a little different, I only get to it like once every 2 or 3 weeks. And there was a little card there, and it was from one of our students. And I'm not going to say who it is because I don't know if it's a private thing or not. But there was a card, and it was a card that just said, like, congratulations on your new home, and I want to participate in redecorating and redesigning. And they sent us $500.
So generous, so kind, so unexpected.
I was like, what?
So beyond, like, what?
I can't believe it. I haven't even had time to, like, cash the check. No, just feel like, wow, oh my gosh. Someone listened to us and wanted to participate. That is, like, so giving. And I was just like, yay, happy, the world is a great place. So that's where I was when then I went to check the email and to deal with some business. And here's how the email went. It was a response to an email that we sent out to the list called, do you want to join us for the 4-week How to Restore Ageless Mobility workshop? And the response was, yes to Tristan, no to Trisbrina. I'm not into the lovey-dovey couple bantering or the public displays of affection. And
there you go, Jim.
I think we should just focus on the point. And Tristan was much better when he was solo.
That's not true. You missed it, dude.
And let's just say the person's name was Jim. Sorry, Jim. So, of course, immediately I put Jim's name in our shopping cart to see if Jim had ever purchased anything when Tristan was solo. And the answer is no. So it wasn't because it was the two of us.
I think he liked the free stuff, which is fine.
Yeah. But at first I was like, what do you mean? We've been teaching together for over 10 years. I'm a movement master. I totally can move. I can teach everything he can teach. There was no public display of affection. And I went through the workshop. You did it. I did it. And
I'm going to display it.
And then I wrote a response and I deleted it. And I just had to sit, and this is where turn the other cheek really came from. Now, I could turn the other cheek and say, remove him from the email list, right? Not in alignment, that's okay. I mean, there's so many choices. But for me, turn the other cheek is to turn my cheek towards that which I love. Turn my cheek towards the generosity. Turn my cheek towards everyone that was so beautiful in that Zoom call. Turn my cheek towards people that love the song we're singing. That's what we teach. Sing your song, and the people that are stomping their feet and clapping their hands, those are your people. And don't worry about the other people. Right. So I had to juggle how to handle the situation. And it's not that there's a right way. I did write back to Jim, and I just said, Jim, that was such a weird experience receiving your email. I'm not sure why you just didn't.
Why take the time?
Yeah, I said, why take the time to share your judgment, and when you could have just not signed up for the workshop like you usually do.
Move on.
And I said, we're going to be teaching together quite a bit, and if that's not your cup of tea, let me know, and I'll remove you from the list. But it was the processing of that. That first reaction was not turning the other cheek when I wanted to, judge him and say, oh, you must not be in love. You're just like there was all these justifying thoughts that were just rambling.
It's called defensiveness, right?
Yeah.
We all have it.
Now, if he wasn't really hurting me, who knows? Probably some...
We don't know.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Right? And I don't want to have any judgment. It's just like if you're not clapping your hands to our song, you should listen to some different music. But turn the other cheek to me. What it really inspired that was, wait a minute, I'm spending too many moments of my life thinking about what Jim thinks. And I need to focus.
You guys relate to this.
Turn my cheek towards serving the people who love what I love, and knowing, I want to be like Sabrina. Look towards that. And in that moment, it was a really easy shift. No one was being hurt. It was just some words in an email.
I think it's a really great lesson for us to all reflect on. Whether you're a teacher like we are, you have clients, you coach, whether you're a parent and a child that might judge you, or others in your community, whatever it may be, when someone says something to you that provokes an internal reaction, we have to look at ourselves, right? We can easily point the finger at the other person and say, well, they're just not very happy, or they must not have a great relationship. And I love that little analogy. When you point that finger, just look closely. You have 3 fingers pointing right back at you, right? It's like, wait a minute, look at myself. Where am I coming from? So I think this is really apropos for those of you who are teaching Qigong. Maybe you're certified by us, or you're attracted to Satori method, because we talk a lot about conscious entrepreneurship. I would like us to all think about this. Is it about you, or is it about them?
Yeah.
Now, if you get a lot of the same messages, then it's time to take a look at yourself and see how you're sharing or what you're putting out, because there may be a different way that you could express that love. Or are you in some kind of energy that's causing reactions to others? What Sabrina said about dance your song, sing your song, tap your feet, those who are tapping along, that's your tribe, that's absolutely right on. It's okay to polarize. It's okay for other people to say, well, I don't like that lovey-dovey, smoochy stuff. Fine. There's some people that didn't grow up with that, or have a reaction when they saw that. They thought it was phony.
Yeah.
Whatever their opinion is, it has nothing to do with you.
I could tell the way it was written. This person thought it was an act. This lovey-dovey.
Yeah. And we certainly, I have that too. When people are
I don't like
overly doing that in public, and I don't even know I'm just sometimes staring at Sabrina because I truly am in awe. I truly am in the energy of love. I find this to be a beautiful energy, a beautiful human. And if that display bothers someone, what do I care? I'm the one enjoying that gorgeousness, right? So you're going to have those things. We all have had them. I love this opportunity for you to internalize and turn it around, to use it to empower yourself, to say, yeah, you saw that demonstration of love? Awesome. It must be coming through, right? That's one way you could reframe it. Another is if you catch yourself reacting and being pissed at them or wanting to write back or, ooh, I'm being defensive right now. What is that in me that got activated?
Yep.
The moment that you engage in that energy with the other person, you've activated that karma in you. Wayne Dyer says something beautiful about what somebody else does is their karma. What you do is your karma, right? He phrases that differently, but your reaction's your karma. It's not them.
Yep.
They didn't cause that in us. We caused that.
Yep.
That was our trigger. So I used to receive emails in the beginning as a teacher that I thought were kind of judgmental, and so I wanted to set them straight. And every time I would get into that energy, I thought, why am I going down to that level and meeting that person in that vibration? Because I'm just asking for more of the same. And then I realized that was like somebody delivered a letter and it landed on the wrong address. I just started deleting them. You can unattract people, there's a delete button, and you just stop activating that vibration, and like you know, I am love, I am serving, I am who I am, and that's that, and it's done. It's done. Drama over.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Game over. And regarding the slap in the face, I will say this as a self-defense instructor on a physical level. If somebody slaps you in the face, don't give them the other friggin' cheek because they're going to punch you again. Right? That statement, in my opinion, what it means is don't come from reactivity, don't come from revenge, don't try to get back because, well, they say that that's God's job, God takes care of that, but I will say the universe, law of attraction's handling their vibration just fine for them. If you start adding to that, you jumped into that vibration, now you get to be in that too. And if you don't want that, then just don't touch it. Sabrina said this, if somebody slaps a dog, and this is what was said actually about this statement before the session. She says, if somebody slaps the dog, I ain't turning a cheek. I'm sticking my hair curler up their ass. And that's okay too, depending on where you're coming from.
Yeah. So there is, as the instrument of source, right? If there was a person that was harming an innocent animal or a child, and I am there, I am God's hands, and I will stick my hot curling iron up their butt. I am such a protector.
Right.
And then it's done.
Right.
It's the looping. I had a teacher years and years and years ago, and I was working with him in like a therapy type situation when I was acting, because you get reviews. And everybody reads them, or there's gossip when in like showbiz, and it was really hard to hear all those judgments and to always know that they're coming about every single thing: your teeth, your nose, your body, your stomach, how you say your lines, just everything.
Under inspection.
Everything.
Yeah. And
he said to me, well, what if I tell you you're a purple elephant that eats grapefruits? Do you care? And I laughed. I was like, no. And he said, why? And I said, because I'm not a purple elephant that eats grapefruits. And he said, oh, well then the
That's
things that
true.
you're reacting to, that people are saying, if it was absurdly untrue, then you would just laugh. But the part of you that wants to defend is because they're saying things that there's a little piece of you that you're scared it might be true. And that has been so valuable.
There
I think
it
he
is.
said that to me when I was like 23. So when I feel that, I have to say, like last night when I read that, I was like, oh wow, there's that voice. I wonder if a lot of people just wish I'd go away.
I won't let it happen. I'm nothing without you.
As far as the because there's a lot of people that are used to his style, and then I have my own tribe.
We could flip it, I'm sure.
But so I got to look at that and then say, it really doesn't matter how we want to spend our life. We really enjoy teaching together. We've taught together for years and years and years, and it's a lot of fun. And go ahead.
No, I'm just saying I can see how everybody can truly relate to that because so many people feel judged.
Yeah.
Exactly what you're saying. No, as I'm listening to Sabrina, I'm like, how many other people have felt this way? Let us know in the chat if you can relate to this, because this certainly isn't about our story. This is everyone's story. This is the mind.
Yeah.
This is the nature of that defensive mechanism within. I love that teaching that teacher shared with you, because you've taught that to me, and you've used that your entire life to check in with where you're at.
Yep. Like that song. You're so vain, you probably think the song is about you.
Don't you?
Have you ever listened to it and thought, am I that vain? Is this song about me? Like, just that total paranoia that it is about you. And
it is.
It's just
But it isn't.
If anything pokes your insecurities, then you'll believe it.
Look at
and
them.
So the key is when you feel that defensiveness, go, wait a minute, they just said something on the outside that maybe I was afraid. I was already afraid people thought that. And why do I care? And it can really, I feel so much more solid in not caring just from that simple little exercise. And that's beautiful. We were speaking just a few minutes ago about our Manifestation Mastery program and gifts that are coming to surprise and delight you. I don't just think those gifts are the $500 in an envelope that we received or a compliment. This email was a gift. This email was a big gift to surprise and delight me, to show me, you just let those go, because that's amazingly powerful to let it roll right off.
Nancy asks a really cool question. She says, a lovely example of choosing love. What do you think are the conditions that make it easier to turn the other cheek? So if we're saying turn the other cheek in the light of turn to face love, what are the conditions?
Turn towards what you want.
And the conditions would be that you already remember who you are. The condition is that you're not in the reactive mind feeling like you have to defend yourself. And like Sabrina just shared, if somebody does say something and it triggers within your condition a judgment or a re-reaction, then I think the condition is you. We're not in your being. You are not connected to your truth. And to say thank you. So I have a little story about in martial arts getting ready for my black belt. My best friend and I tested for our black belts together. His name is Shen. We lived in Malibu, and we were training in the Chuck Norris system, and there were 3 guys going for their black belt, me, Shen, and this other fellow named Gabe, who was an actor. And Shen and I were really pumped up. I mean, we were like pushing each other. We were our accountability buddies, Budo buddies, and we were just all about it. We were like, we're going to be black belts, And so the sensei, our sensei, Mr. B, he said, okay, I want you guys to spar tonight. And so we were in front of each other. We bow, we get going, and we're really throwing some kicks and punches, and you were just super excited. And he's like, settle down, calm down, like watch your control. You always used to say, watch your control. And back in the day when you trained, not like today where you wear pads, it was bare knuckle, barefoot. We had to fight without pads. So you were supposed to pull your punches or hit lightly. And, Shen does this really awesome move. It's a spin, and he does this spinning back kick, and he hit me right in the crotch and dropped me. And I'm getting up, and I'm pissed. I'm ready to go. And the sensei says, stop. Sit down. He put us on our knees back to back. Take a breath, take a moment. Settle down. We take a breath, take a moment. On your feet! I jump up really fast, turn around, ready to go. He looks at me, he looks at him, he says, bow out. Sit down. I'm like, oh man, I want to redeem myself. And after class, Mr. B comes up to me. Oh, I'm sorry. Right then when we bowed, he told me first to bow to Shen. Before the official bow out, where you both bow, he's like, bow to your partner. I'm like, what? He just kicked me in the you-know-what. Shouldn't he say sorry to me? And so after class, I went up to Mr. B, and I'm like, sir, I'm so confused. Why did you make me bow to him? And he said, I'll tell you why. Because he showed you where you were open. I guess he did. He sure did. And he goes, no, he showed you where you could get better. I told you to settle down. You didn't. And then he threw a kick and showed you, because you weren't present, because you've blocked those kicks before, what you could improve. Keep your hands up. Move better. He gave you a gift. And I've always remembered that, because whenever somebody has thrown a shot, and maybe it's hit you and you felt it, can you bow to the universe and say, thank you for waking me up. Thank you for this wake-up call. Thank you for this lesson. Thank you for this expedient that's showing you where you were open or off, meaning out of alignment. And if you can catch that, you can become empowered by the seeming giver of that. But it's the messenger. You don't get pissed at the messenger. You take the message and you use it.
Yeah.
Right?
Because the person throwing the kick may just be an asshole.
Maybe.
Right? It's not about them being right or, the giver of the gift. It's your interpretation of it. It's all about us. It's all about how we decide. Like, nothing means anything except the meaning we put on it. Right? Like, that email meant a lot to me. My response to it meant a whole lot.
But look what she got from it. She remembered, I'm turning the cheek to love. That's the win. Without that email, she didn't get that win.
Yep.
Right? Some of you probably think this is hard to do. You're right. It's not easy. We've both had some really tough ones like you have in this life, where people have done wrong, bad, unjust things. We're in the middle of one right now where if you knew about it, you'd be like, so wrong, so not fair. Nice people shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah.
And yet our energy takes two to tango. We always look at that, like, what's the lesson, what's the growth, what's the win for us? And if you don't move into that, you get to churn and burn up your life force energy in that drama. But we actually watched a movie last night that was based on The Secret. It wasn't The Secret. It was with Katie Holmes, and Justin Luke? I think Justin Luke. Anyway, it's actually really pretty good, very uplifting. And he said in the movie something, and your dad said, I don't know if that's true, but he said sometimes bad things can lead to good things. Well, sometimes bad information or bad action, if you use it, you can use it to really grow. And so we're doing that with something we're in right now. But I'm not saying it's easy. It's not like, oh, okay, thank you for the gift. I so appreciate. You want to crush them. You want to go get them. You want to sue them. You want to do whatever it is. You want to get them back. But then if you go back to that original teaching from the New Testament, it's not about revenge. It's not about any of that. That's being taken care of universally.
Yep.
It's about what are you doing to up-level into love, to turn your cheek into love.
And that you might not be able to tell from the outside what it is. Like the person abusing an animal, when I stick my hot curling iron up their butt, that's not for revenge. It's to stop them from hurting the animal. And so...
That's her technique. So I throw a punch, you got a curling iron.
I was curling my hair, and so that's just the analogy that came out. So it isn't the action, it's what is behind it and what is driving it.
That's
and
right.
And if it's going around and around and around in your head, it usually isn't pure, because you take the action and you move on.
Okay.
Yeah, you.
You got quiet. Hi, Joanna. Hi, Cheryl. I actually have one more thing to say around that. If someone's hurting someone or you can still take freaking action.
Yeah, we're not saying be passive.
No, at all. Like, take conscious action, though. Sometimes the person doing that needs to be stopped. You need to help protect the next person that they might go after. You know, some people throw a rock up in the air, and then you're walking along and it smacks you in the head, and they're like, oh, your karma, so sad. And you're like, wait a minute, you're the one that friggin' threw the rock. Your karma.
Yeah.
right? So there's a time and a place to tell people to stop throwing rocks because they're hurting innocent people.
Yeah. I tell myself sometimes, Sabrina, it's just really not a fair fight. So let's say that I was with a toddler, right? And a toddler says something
Nancy, you're funny.
nasty or throws something at me, drops a rock on my foot. I could say things and do things to that toddler that would so hurt them. It's not a fair fight. But that's the same way that I feel with a lot of adults. Even with this Jim that emailed, I knew when I was answering back, Sabrina, it's not a fair fight.
That's for sure.
It's not a fair fight. And somehow I know that's a weird thing to say, but he, most likely, he hasn't done the years of personal growth. He doesn't have the tools. He doesn't have the insight. He doesn't have the ability. He doesn't have the words that I do. It's not a fair fight. It almost makes me a bully to pulverize him
This is
through
an
words.
important point, guys.
Because
realize your power.
I can, in a word battle, I can take you down.
Going down.
I can take you down and really say horrible, mean things and really say things that will hurt you and you'll never forget. And that's why we have an agreement.
That's why we don't fight.
No matter how angry we are or frustrated, I will never say something to Tristan that is hurtful so that later he says, well, I know we were mad, but I wonder if she really thinks that. And we never do. We never do. Because you can't forget some things. So sometimes in that anger, and that's why it's another reason in that heated situation, like remember what you love, because you don't want to say things to people that later you're like, gosh, why did I do that? That was so not me. And you can't take it back. You can't take it back, like law of attraction. You can't do an action and then try to like suck it back. You already did it. You already said it. You already put that energy into motion. So
Yeah.
I remember that in situations where someone is doing something where the vibration seems small and yet it still bothers me. I'm like, hey, I'm being small. That doesn't mean that I don't put a stop to a bully and I don't do the action that needs to happen to help move the entire situation towards something positive. I'm not going to drive by somebody getting hurt by someone. I'm going to be the hands of God. It's am I staying in the energy of love, or am I going to start singing their song? I need to keep singing my song, doing whatever action I take. Because they're trying to get me to sing off tune.
Some very beautiful comments coming through. Thank you, everybody. I love this one from Deb. Our emotional management can be powerful for us, and we can help others and be a role model.
Yes.
And bring peace to so many others. Teach them.
And boy, we need that right now, in the USA in particular.
This is beautiful from Joanna. We don't always remember what someone said or did, but we always remember how someone makes us feel. And you can even have somebody, and this is sometimes the game or the win for you, is when somebody is in that place of judgment or projection onto you. Can you turn them?
Yeah.
Can you help them through love shift? I've got to leave you with this story on my part, and then Sabrina will, I'm sure, have another close here. But this is about Aikido. And Aikido, and I can show you this picture just for a moment. This is really cool. This is the founder of Aikido. His name is Morai Ueshiba, and he was a great master and a great teacher. Martial artist. Aikido is an art where you don't create karma. When something comes at you, you just get out of the way and you let it defeat itself. It's a very beautiful art, very spiritually evolved martial art. And this man was on a train in Japan, an American who was learning to become a master, a black belt in Aikido, and he was getting ready for his black belt exam. And he wasn't quite there yet, but he was really trying to understand the principles of Aikido, which is very passive in that sense, because if you see aggression, you don't meet aggression with aggression, you allow the aggression to defeat itself. And so on the train, a man got on, and this almost black belt was standing holding a pole, riding the train, and this man belligerently gets on the train, obviously very drunk, and starts bumping into people and being kind of rude and vulgar. And he knocks into a lady, older lady, and knocked her back. And the guy's thinking, he's starting to have his judgments, like, what a jerk. And then the drunk man got really, was yelling about something, pushed somebody. And the person was knocked back. And he's like, if he does one more thing, all this Aikido stuff, let aggression, I have to step in, I'm taking him out. It's going down. And the man was belligerent, saying stuff, and he was about to step in and do something, and this little man steps in front of him and goes, hey, buddy, what's going on? Shut up! Get out of my way! He's like, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm having such a bad day. And he starts dialoguing with him, what I would call verbal de-escalation. But it wasn't like he was being attacked. He was just injecting this particular practice. And he's like, what happened? What happened today? He's like, shut up, you don't care. Nobody cares. Nobody fucking cares. I lost my job. Blah, blah, blah. He's like, oh my, and he starts to commiserate with him and entrains his energy in. Next thing you know, this drunk, upset man is starting to vent to this little guy. And soon you see him sitting down next to the man, and the man has his arm around him, and he's consoling him.
Is that a public display of affection?
Totally. Right now. Oh, we're doing it. And now the man's crying. And this American man's looking at this experience going, oh my gosh, I just witnessed Aikido. Not a punch, not a kick, not a throw. Didn't have to snap any bones, punch anybody. I saw it in action. If you can turn someone, if you can use that power of love to inject love because you can stand in your truth, in your power, then you can be such a liberator and a facilitator of this love. Isn't that what we all want, to tap into that kind of power? Turn your cheek to love. If something comes, take it and use it, because everything can be used to grow more love in ourselves. And that's my take.
That's beautiful.
So beautiful lessons here. Beautiful lessons.
Yep. When you put Joanna's quote up, that you remember how they made you feel, I would add to that, for me, I always remember how I made them feel. And the kind of guilt that I feel when I do something out of alignment and it hurts someone, that's really heavy and hard to shake. So, and you can't reverse it. You can just start making those choices moving forward. But it's a real shortcut if in the moment you can just, what's the most loving and kind thing that I can do from the powerful place of love and consciousness, where from the outside nobody knows where that action is coming from.
Yep. Well, thank you everyone for your incredible comments and energy. We have such wise, beautiful souls that are part of this community.
Yeah, because this conversation about turning the other cheek, I think has been the reason we wanted to talk about it. It's been so misunderstood, I think, by a lot of people, as in, just like be the victim, and that's somehow holy. So when that man years ago was strangling me, I told Tristan, what am I supposed to do? Say, tie my hands up too? Right? No. It was fight back, get away, save my life. Listen to my intuition as to how to make that happen. And then let it go. And then let it go. Not nightmare after nightmare and reliving it, and I'm a victim and always being afraid it's going to happen again. The turning the other cheek doesn't just happen once. When you've had a trauma, you might have to turn towards what you'd want again and again and again and again, even from a memory. Because we'll hold that person and we'll project that person that hurt us on person after person after person after person, even when they aren't trying to hurt us. Right? They say, oh, you attract the same type of people to yourself again and again. Or you interpret everything that people say to you as the way that original person said it that hurt your feelings. You've cast yourself. as a victim in this way.
Beautiful. Such good lessons, friends. And on that note,
What?
this is for Jim. Thanks, Jim. Great session you inspired tonight. We so appreciate you. I hope that you find this kind of love, and this kind of banter, and this kind of silliness. And Sabrina's here forever. Thanks, friends, for being part of the Trisbrina Show. Love, 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 love you all. See you soon. Bye now.